So it's A, B, C, D, no E, F, G, H, I, J, no K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So if I want to write pig now, I would have to write it this way. I would have to write P, okay, I, and G. So it's pig. This is P-I-G. So now you see it's harder because if you know I'm writing this way with a key in front, and you can put whatever word you want in there, as long as the receiver knows that word, they can figure out what the code is, what is being said. Okay? So that's nice. Okay, but Dan Brown wasn't happy with this. He says, yeah, that's cool, that's good, but it wasn't happy. What he did is he took Durer's magic square, the one from his Melancholia. Okay, let's see, let's try to go back here and find it. So his magic square looks like this, 1, and then here 14, 15, 4. And then he has 9, 6, 7, 12. And then he has, I believe that's a 5, 5, 10, 11, 8. And the top line is 16, 3, 2, 13. Okay, now let me show you at this point, let me show you how to make this 4x4 magic square according to Durer's directions. Okay? And Durer said that for a 4x4 magic square, all you have to do, and this is guaranteed that it comes out every time, you have to start either here or here and think of the two main diagonals, and you start counting, but you only write down the number if it falls on the main diagonal. If it doesn't fall on the main diagonal, then you keep the count, but you don't write down the number. For example, you would write, and you can start either here or here. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you only write down the number if it falls on the main diagonal. Then you go backwards, and you fill in the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Guaranteed everything adds up to 34. Okay? But this carving he did in 1514. And if you look at the magic square that he has in the carving, you see that cleverly he arranged it so that the date of the carving is the middle two numbers in the last row, okay? Which is very clever. This guy was pretty sharp. Okay? Now let's see how he did this. Well, there are other ways of doing Durer's magic square, and the way he did this was the following. Okay, he started over here, And he went this way, this way, this way, and this way, going up. So here's the main diagonals. So he wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he went that way. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay? And then coming back, he went this way, the same way. This way, and this way. So coming back, he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This also is a magic square because each row, each column, and each main diagonal adds up to 34. Okay? But very cleverly, he made the middle two numbers of the bottom row come out with the date that he did this carving. This is the extra complication that Dan Brown put in his novel. Okay? So instead of putting in a key, he left this the way it was. However, he arranged the letters in here, this way. So he arranged the letters in here, so that you would put the first letter here, the second here, the third here, the fourth here, fifth, 6, 7, 8. So you had to know where the letters are. So you see they're scrambled, definitely scrambled. Okay? So that's another extra complication. And not only that, but he added a third layer of complication. The message, after you unscramble all this stuff, and if you read the book, you'll see it, the message didn't mean anything. Why? It wasn't Latin. So after you figured out that they used the Masonic cipher or the Pigpen cipher, and it was arranged in this format of Durer's 4x4 magic square, and you figured out what the letters were in the proper order, you now had to know Latin to figure it out. So that's the story here. Okay? So you have here a nice novel. That's if you like chase scenes, this is good. And he's got all sorts of symbols and stuff like that. And he claims this is the lost symbol. I don't know. That's a 0. No interior angles. Okay. So it's a very interesting novel, and this is where he got all these ideas from. You see, the magic squares, the ciphering, plus the extra complication that after you've figured out what the letters were, unless you knew Latin, it had no meaning to you. Okay, so that's basically it. Now, he has in another part of the book, he also uses Benjamin Franklin's square. So this is Durer's square. So he used Durer's magic square. He used the Masonic cipher. Okay, and then the message was then written in Latin. Okay, so you had to know Latin. And then there was another complication to the whole thing where he used an 8x8 square by Benjamin Franklin. Okay, And let me go find this square for you here. And of course, we know that it's not a magic square because, you see, here is the square, but the two main diagonals do not add up to the magic sum. Now, just to see if that works, an 8 by 8 should add up to 8 times 8 squared plus 1 divided by 2. This should be the sum. That's a 2. 64 plus 1 is 65. And that's a 4. And 65 times 4 is 260. So the sum here of each row, each column, is 260. But the two main diagonals are not 260. So by definition, it's not a magic square. But look what else this thing does. It's amazing. If you add these, or these position, those are 260. This and the two corners are 260. This and this is this. You see these arrows. These two corners are 260. These four corners are 260. The four corners and the four middle ones are 260. Yes.
Did Franklin know that?
Yeah. He knew this. Yeah. So then he made a 16 by 16 magic square. Yeah. That I did not check if it's true or not, but the 8 by 8 isn't. But Mr. Brown stops here. He says 8 by 8 is okay. And although it's not a true magic square, he uses it. So now he calls these bent rows and stuff like that. Now the reason I'm showing you these on the internet is I hope people will go look, okay, and go look at all these ideas of magic squares and Masonic cipher. As a matter of fact, there are websites where you can get the Masonic cipher as a font, and you can install it on your computer. And that's how I wrote this little note for you. Okay. And then you can type in Masonic cipher or Pigpen cipher. Now, what did I write here? Well, let's see. What did I write? Should I tell you, or? I don't know. Let me see. I don't remember. That's why every time you use a key, you should write it down. This is like having many passwords. And the only person that you're excluding from there is probably you, because you forgot what password you used. Okay? So let's see, what did I write here? I wrote this. Now, one way that code breakers use to break codes is that they try to figure out what language it was written for. And then they look at the language and they figure out which letter occurs most often in that language. For example, in English, it may be the letter E. Then they look at the message and they check which symbol occurs more often. That's probably the E. And then they go from there. Okay? So they try to break the code. But what is this? Okay. Well, notice the first hint here is that it's laid out in a 4x4 arrangement. And that's one hint, because probably we introduce this level of difficulty, or this one, okay. But it's probably something to do with a 4x4 square, okay? So probably I'm going to have to read it this way. This is going to be number 1, okay? This is number 2, this is number 3. Okay, this is number 4. I'm sorry, number 4 is down here. Okay, if I'm using this one. And then number 5 is here. Okay, number 6 is over here. And number 7 is here. And number 8 is this position. And 9 is here. 10, 11, and 12, and then 13, and 14, and 15, and 16. So that's the arrangement of the symbols. Okay? Now, that's number 1, and according to this, this would be an E. Okay? And if I did that, and I figured out I'm going to get gibberish. And that's where the extra complication comes in, and he mentioned it. Maybe there's a key to this. And if you don't know the key, you don't know where to start. Well, since you're all my pals here, the key is the word key, just like I did over here. That's my key, the word key. So this, which is the number 1, is really a B. Okay? So that's a B. All right? And here's the number 2. Okay, and number 2, see I'm over here now, that's an E, it's the second letter in that position. And here's the number 3, and that is the first letter in this position, that's a Y. And where's number 4? Here it is. That's number 4. And number 4 is the second letter here, you see, because it's got a dot. And the number 5 is this, which you see is N. And then the number 6 is this symbol, which is D. Oh, look at that, beyond. And if you decipher everything else, it says, beyond Dan Brown and the lost symbol. So that's the little presentation. I hope we didn't put you to sleep. I hope you enjoyed the pizza. And read the book. And I hope we brought you a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of insight into symbols, ciphers, magic squares, and languages. Thank you very much.
Do you have any food reserves in your home right now? How long could you provide food for your family if the food supply was cut off? A month? A week? 3 days? Wouldn't you feel better if you had the necessary reserves? Have you ever noticed that the more advanced we get, the less prepared we are? Many things that defined life only 100 years ago are so convenient today that we don't really think about what would happen if that convenience were gone. Consider how we get our food. We just go down to the grocery store and grab a few things. But what if something happened that interrupted the food supply to the store? How long would it take for the shelves to be wiped out? What would you do? How long could you and your family survive? You know, for all the other important things in our lives, we have a variety of professionals, from mechanics to doctors, to help cover our bases. Why don't we also have a food professional? Food is our greatest dependency. Yet most of us find ourselves unprepared for the uncertainties that lie ahead. Why take chances? Why not do something about it? You've already taken the first step. Keep moving forward with this tour, and we can help you put a plan together and even show you how to get your food for free. Do you have any food reserves in your home right now? How long could you provide food for your family if the food supply was cut off? A month? A week? 3 days? Wouldn't you feel better if you had the necessary reserves? Have you ever noticed that the more advanced we get, the less prepared we are? Many things that defined life only 100 years ago are so convenient today that we don't really think about what would happen if that convenience were gone. Consider how we get our food. We just go down to the grocery store and grab a few things. But what if something happened that interrupted the food supply to the store? How long would it take for the shelves to be wiped out? What would you do? How long could you and your family survive? You know, for all the other important things in our lives, we have a variety of professionals, from mechanics to doctors, to help cover our bases. Why don't we also have a food professional? Food is our greatest dependency. Yet most of us find ourselves unprepared for the uncertainties that lie ahead. Why take chances? Why not do something about it? You've already taken the first step. Keep moving forward with this tour, and we can help you put a plan together and even show you how to get your food for free.